What's good, everybody? RJ Sheldon here, back with another episode of the BD Boys Off the Top Show. As you see here, my good brother James Muenchow, aka Jimmer, aka Jim Bob Cooter. What's happening, brother?
Oh, it's going. It finally cooled down, bro. Finally cooled down. Lay of the land, as we usually do. Give the setting what's going on here in the Midwest. It is finally not 90 fucking degrees. I can finally breathe. We got down to 64 last night. I thought about bringing out the winter coat. We're doing good here. We got a little bit to talk about. We had a great 4th of July weekend. Hopefully everybody came back out of this 4th of July weekend with all their fingers. Yes, I'm making a Jason Pierre-Paul reference. We don't want anybody throwing fireworks. I hope we didn't have anybody out there losing any fingers and looking like Jason Pierre-Paul. So, with that said, let's get into it.
Now let's do it. A Packers mandatory mini camp is going to go ahead and start here June 10th through the 12th. That's big, obviously, getting the guys back in, going ahead and getting things squared away when it comes to just getting the chemistry for the offense and the defense, and obviously individual guys going ahead and seeing each other. Getting the rookies in there as well, getting everyone accustomed that, just having everyone in there to just bump shoulders a little bit, coaches to bump shoulders with the players to go ahead and get familiar with their obviously day-to-day things that they're going to do while they're in the building and go ahead and see it for quite some time because it is a long football season. So that is coming upon us. And with that, it's always good seeing that because that means football is around the corner. But I do have a question, obviously, to go ahead and bring up in the air here. There's always talks about guys that need to go ahead and lead for this team. We've had multiple guys that, we would go ahead and say that would lead. Obviously, Jair Alexander was a very huge guy that people kind of respected in the locker room. He's gone. Obviously, we had the leadership of Aaron Rodgers to go ahead back in the day to go ahead and take care of certain things and get guys going. Brett Favre to go ahead and do some things as well. Maybe it wasn't, but a guy that you did respect and you listened to. Maybe Charles Woodson back in the day. Maybe Nick Collins back in the day. Maybe Donald Driver back in the day. Maybe even Devontae Adams in the back of the day. Maybe even Reggie White. I'm just throwing crazy names out here right now. So please don't ever question my ability in regards to Packers. But talk to me right now kind of who needs to just take the wheel. Obviously, you hear Jordan Love. You hear all this other stuff, but there's always guys that you think that it is Jordan Love, but it kind of really isn't. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but talk to me about this kind of what you're thinking.
Well, let's go with the defensive side first. The defensive side, we already know who's a verbal leader. It's Xavier McKinney. I think from day one, he came in there, and I think he proved to everybody he's smart. He's a high IQ guy, and usually the high IQ guys, and obviously the dude can play ball. So yeah. They didn't know how he was in the locker room, but they saw the tape and they're like, well, Duke can ball. So, but then he got in the locker room and you listened to him talk. He did a bunch of interviews. He's a very high intelligent guy. So I think not only with his play, but how he approaches and prepares for games really made him a leader on that defense and somebody to look up to. I think he's going to start setting a standard for the secondary at least. Hopefully, you talked about Eric Wilson last year. He had a pick in the Indianapolis game, and Eric Wilson said, I was lined up, and then I just hear X at the back telling me to step outside, shuffle outside, get outside a little bit more, get some more leverage, and they picked. So, Xavier McKinney is the backbone of this defense in the sense of he gets everybody set, he sees things. He said he knows plays off of just seeing formations. So I think on the defense is easily Xavier McKinney. You would like to see Edgerrin Cooper, I think, will emerge. Maybe not this year because you got half a season out of him last year. So he wasn't around, and he really wasn't around for training camp last year because he hurt that ankle. But hopefully this year he continues the play that we saw him do where he played all pro level, Pro Bowl level for sure. Maybe he becomes more vocal. Jair Alexander, you said a lot of names, and notably Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Jair Alexander. Those guys were leaders, but I think they started burning people out with how they went about their business, all in different ways. Favre played in retirement to the point where he didn't even get dressed with the team. He had his own private area to get dressed. He wasn't even in the locker rooms. He was just... And then he'd just show up week one of preseason after you're like, where's Favre? Where's Brett? It's training camp. He's not here. And then he shows up. And you're just like, oh, I guess Brett's here now with all, and then it was Aaron Rodgers with, the trade of Devontae Adams, the whole, just him talking in riddles, him trying to troll the media, always something about the ayahuasca, about his personal life, just something. And then the Pat McAfee show, and you kind of burned some people out there where it was like, okay, he's still the leader, but the only reason why is because he's the quarterback and we need to succeed in this league. And he was top talent still. Like, obviously he was a back-to-back MVP, but he kind of wore some guys out, but it was still like, okay, Aaron's still a leader. We want to please the quarterback, but it was just kind of mentally draining. And same with Jair Alexander. I mean, the whole 2 seasons ago where he just walked out for a coin toss and he wasn't declared a captain because it was his hometown of Charlotte. Yes, I understand his family was there, but then like you get talking and he's very, very out there guy, very like vocal, he's loose. He talks his shit, and he backed it up with his play, but then once again it was just like, what are you saying, man? So I think he burned some people out there as well, and then he got burnt out as well. You kind of see some things, but then you name some people who didn't burn out. So you look at this team right now: Xavier McKinney. Keyshawn Nixon's vocal, but he's an idiot. Literally, that guy makes me rip my hair out more times than not, and not because of his play. Sometimes it was his play, but it's all this stuff after the whistle. He's talking shit, and it's like, dude, you're not that guy. Like, why are you talking shit, getting into scuffles after the whistle? It's really annoying. So I don't think. Hopefully he matures, because now he's technically CB1. There's not a true CB1 on this, but because of how long he's been there, I don't know if it's Carrington Valentine, not for a leader standpoint. So you don't have anybody there. And then you got the defensive line. You got Rashawn Gary, who's obviously people look up to him, and he's very emotional, very, very outspoken, not in the sense of on the microphone, but he see it through his work. He's a guy like off season, you want to be like, we got to work like Rashawn, because Rashawn's putting in the work. He puts the work into practice. He's a leader in that aspect, but yet then his stats really don't translate to that. It's just like, okay, well, he's a leader, but he's not stats, but people still respect him, so that's good. So you need somebody to step up, kind of like an Xavier McKinney. I think you need more. That's where I think Edgerrin Cooper comes in. I think he has the ability to have the play, but then also like people respect him, and I think he could step up. But again, it's only year 2. I'd rather him focus on his play for now and stay healthy, because when he's on the field, it's a difference with him and Xavier up the middle. Quay Walker's that, I think, the longest tenured defensive player. And Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark, obviously everybody looks up to Kenny Clark. He's been a leader for quite some time. I think your defense is kind of set, but you just hope people evolve. So that defense is easy. Now we get to the offense. You would like to see Jordan Love step up and become a leader. It's very obvious everybody respects him in the locker room. They got on board with him from year 1. Even before he started, you heard guys like, if Jordan Love's the starting quarterback, we're ready. Like, we're ready. We're going to get behind Jordan, all that kind of cliche shit. But it showed. Like, they were behind him. They had his back, and so you hope that he keeps evolving as a leader as well as he is as a quarterback. The real leader of the offense right now is Josh Jacobs. And you saw that in the offseason on Radio Row or TV Row, Media Row, wherever you want to call it during the Super Bowl, when he literally called out and said, I think our offense called out wide receiver room, basically said, I think we need a number 1 wide receiver, which meant there's no number 1s in this room. And yes, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and Christian Watson did not like it. But when we talked about it, was he wrong? No, he wasn't wrong. So that's a guy who can stand up there, not only be 5th or 4th in rushing, I can't remember. I think he was 3rd or 4th in the league in rushing, and then get up there and be like, who's going to come back at him and be like, well, you're not cutting it. Bullshit, dude. I was 3rd in the league in rushing or 5th in the league in rushing. I did my part. You guys aren't doing your part. And he's not just being a he didn't come off as like an asshole or a prima donna or anything like that. He's just speaking the truth. And that's what leaders do. Right. So, I mean, no one's going to challenge his abilities or the way he plays. So the real leader on that team is Josh Jacobs, and they have a lot of issues on offense in the sense of like Elton Jenkins is not happy right now with his contract situation. I don't know why, because he's moving into center. And if his contract as a center, he's one of the top 5 paid centers in the league, but he's paid as a guard. So he's getting more money to have an easier job. You know, Zach Tom is probably emerging as the leader of the offensive line, even though Elton Jenkins has been there longer. But with everything that's going on with Elton Jenkins right now, just when you think you get rid of all the bad apples and all the guys who bring it to unnecessary attention, Elton Jenkins starts his whole thing. He still showed up to mini camp, which the guy is pissed off as he's usually nowhere near mini camp. Like, I don't even think TJ Watt in Pittsburgh showed up to mini camp, and he's pissed off at his contract. Elton Jenkins showed up, so I'll give him that. He could have just stayed in Mississippi because he went to Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken. He could have been in Mississippi or wherever other vacation home he has, but he showed up. So you got to give him some of that. You talk about Romeo Doubs. You hope he steps up and maybe the leader of the wide receiver room. But now all of a sudden there's talk that he may price himself out of a contract for the Green Bay Packers next year. But that's a next year problem. But that wide receiver room really needs a leader. I don't think Christian Watson is going to be that guy. You thought Jaden Reed after year 1 was going to be that guy. Really took a step back after year 2. I just hope him and Dontavian Wicks focus on catching the goddamn ball. And then you got Romeo Doubs, who had the issue last year with, you know, he was pissed about not getting the ball. And then obviously another person who could step up because his play shows it, and he's that guy that he comes in, he gets his work done, and he does it well, and then he produces on the field, is Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft could easily be that guy, vocal leader, not afraid to mix it up with people, standing up for people, that type shit. So you got people who could do it in Green Bay. You just need people who need to evolve into it. Jordan Love evolving into this, huge. But it's not a bad thing that you have Josh Jacobs doing it. I mean, I think he's one of the older guys on the team, and maybe in that offense. I mean, Elton Jenkins is old. I think Zach Tom might be kind of there with him, but Josh Jacobs has been there, done that in the sense of producing in the league. So I think he definitely has the right to say what he had to say during the Super Bowl week. And I mean, because he shows out. So I think you need Jordan Love especially, but you need another defensive guy for sure. Kenny Clark does it. Everybody looks up to Kenny Clark, but he's kind of not that vocal leader. So your 2 vocal leaders right now are Xavier Kinney and Josh Jacobs. You just hope you find leaders, and you know, leadership drives teams to Super Bowls. So you saw guys like Jason Kelsey do it with the Philadelphia Eagles, just a lineman, but people respected the hell out of him. And he was vocal, and people looked up to him. You see people all around the league. So Green Bay's got 2 really good players, and they're in year 2 now. And it's kind of funny how that works, how they're pretty much the vocal leaders, but they're only there for the second year. So I think that's how good they are, too. So that speaks volumes because they're good. And then they come into the team and say, you know what? You know, Xavier Kinney didn't say anything along with Josh Jacobs, but Josh Jacobs coming in year 1, I think they say things like that because they see the potential. They just want the best for the team. So, again, having a quarterback in the NFL that's a leader and has leadership qualities is huge. I think Jordan Love has it, but it's only year 3. It's kind of weird saying that because he's been around for so long. But it's only year 3. Last year, I don't think he was worried about leading the team. I think he was worried about getting healthy. I hope he stays healthy. But I think if he stays healthy, stays upright, he's obviously going to become the leader because guys are just behind him. Like the way they naturally just said, in year 1, we're ready for Jordan Love. We're going to support Jordan Love, all that. That's huge. It speaks volumes to the locker room that they believe in him. So he doesn't need to try very hard to be the leader. They're already ready to follow him. So you hope Jordan Love just steps up and produces, and then he just kind of becomes the vocal leader of the team. But again, you already have 2 really good leaders. So I think the Packers are in a good spot, and you have a lot of young guys. I mean, Matthew Golden could ball out this year, and all of a sudden guys are looking up to him as a rookie already. So obviously you don't have that guy like Charles Woodson was or how Reggie was. Favre in his younger years was really good, and Rodgers in his younger years, I mean, he kind of in the same situation Jordan Love. He just came in and replaced the legend that was Brett Favre, and guys were ready to play for him, and then he just stepped in and People responded to him. So I think Jordan Love is going to become the leader because guys just naturally respond to him. So I think Green Bay's good, really good position from a leadership standpoint. Now they just got to go out and perform on the field.
No, they gotta. And I just want to kind of add on to that as well. There's always just weird ways on how people lead within the locker room, especially a high octane, laser focused, the best of best. You know, my time being at Michigan State, we had a lot of guys that played at a very high level, wide receivers, offensive linemen, quarterbacks. You saw Connor Cook. Connor Cook even really wasn't a vocal guy. We didn't even have him as a captain in the 2015-14 year. We still respected him. Like, obviously, there's things that go on. You know, there's guys that replace that. So I think
you don't need to be vocal to be a leader. Like, I remember conversations 7-8 years ago about, is Aaron Rodgers the leader of the Packers because he's not vocal? Well, you don't need, look at the way he's playing. You can be a leader based on your playing ability and not get on the mic and be like, I'm the leader of this team, blah, blah. You don't need, I mean, did he have leadership qualities? I don't think he has the best ones, but when your play speaks for itself, I don't think you need it. So like Jordan Love right now, is he the most vocal guy? As of right now, no. But if he goes out and plays like he did at the end of year one, and I mean, he played pretty well week one, and then obviously he was fighting through injury, which is also very respectable. That locker room knew he was not 100%, and he still went out there and gutted it through a playoff game against the Eagles that did not look good by any stretch of the imagination, and just fought. I mean, that speaks volumes to a locker room. We're like, hey, our quarterback is hurt and he is not like up to the ability that he could play at, but he's going out there and he's fighting. So I think that speaks volumes. And again, like with Michigan State, like when you're talking, you had guys that just, there's something about a leader that where guys just, a natural leader, people just stick to him. Like you feel it, like with Lip and Burbridge. You weren't there with Le'Veon Bell, but those guys played well. Guys gravitated to him and tried to mold their skills like they were as close as they could do as possible. And as you said, Connor Cook, maybe not the most vocal guy, but you believed in him and you fought for him. So naturally, he became the leader that he became. So leaders can be in different shapes and sizes. They don't always have to be the hoorah-rah vocal leaders as they are.
No, absolutely. And then that's basically what I was going to go ahead and even just get to. But it's just the big thing on that is that you have a ton of ways to lead. And that's how it goes at the end of the day. But let's go ahead and move on over to the Milwaukee Bucks. We go ahead and sign a huge signing, in my opinion. For people that don't think it is, you're crazy. Ryan Rollins go with a 3-year, $12 million deal. His last 10 games, he went ahead and averaged 12.3 points, 4 assists, and shot 58 from three-point range. This guy plays on both ends extremely hard. Giannis loves him. As you saw, just Giannis really, I'm going to be honest when I say this, he's really loving this lineup that he has right now. You see him over in Greece. He's out there just having a good old time, got the kids, got the wife. And if you look at this team from 1 all the way to 12 or 1 all the way to 10, it's looking very promising. This is a very good signing. Talk to me about this for the Bucks.
You look at that signing, I mean, he's not like he's 23. He's very young, very green still by every stretch of the imagination. But to lock him up for 3 years for only $3.5 million, that could be your diamond in the rough where he could pop off. And then maybe he becomes another guy who prices himself out because he plays so well, but who cares? You got him for the next 3 years. He's an effort, two-way, both sides of the court player, which Giannis loves. You kind of look at some of the guys, and I think that's what this team is going to be is we're not going to, like, it's not going to be the 2021 championship team with Giannis scoring 40, Chris Middleton scoring 30, 35, Brook Lopez putting up 20, Drew Holiday scoring 20, and then locking people up on both sides of the floor. It's going to be, we are going to have to put in effort, and we're going to have to run, and we're going to have to run and run and run because we don't have the talent that we used to. Yes, Giannis is still going to drop his 30. Yes, Miles Turner is hopefully going to help and maybe score 20 to 25 a game. And then Bobby Portis may come on and pump up the crowd with a couple big shots or big defensive plays. Kevin Porter Jr., another effort guy. Like that. I mean, when he plays well, but he still plays with effort. Gary Trent Jr., another guy, a lot of effort. AJ Green, D&3 guy, like he's going to be there for his 3-point shooting and his defense. Like this team doesn't have star power anymore. It has Giannis and Miles Turner. Kyle Kuzma, I don't even know what the fuck he's gonna bring. He might just be we're just gonna live with whatever Kyle Kuzma brings to the table. He has incentives, $2.5 million incentive. I don't know what for, but looking at this spot track, he has a likely incentive of $600,000. Okay, but he has an unlikely incentive of $2.5 million. He has something to play for. Is he going to get it? I don't know because I don't know what the fuck it is. But what is Kyle Kuzma going to bring? If he doesn't bring anything, okay, that's fine. Guess what? He's gone after this year. We have that's another $22 million that's free off the books next year. Maybe make another splash. It might, but this is a really good signing. Doc Rivers started him game 1 this year against the Indiana Pacers, which speaks volumes because Doc Rivers usually doesn't like young kids. He likes vets, which I think the front office is maybe forcing his hand a little bit and saying, hey, we got to get young. Like, you're not going to get Brook Lopez back, thank God. You're not going to get Chris Middleton back. He could come back. There's talk of the Wizards buying him out. Would I mind that? No, if the price is right, because that's a shooter. It's a shot creator. But that's a whole different story. We're not even going to talk about it because it's a hypothetical at this point. The Bucks may not be done with anything, but this is going to be a team where it used to be, okay, Giannis is going to give us 30, and then Damian Lillard is going to give us 30. Well, now Damian Lillard's gone. The only thing that's guaranteed is Giannis is going to give us 30. Miles Turner, again, as I said, he might give you 20. But you don't know what Bobby Portis is going to bring. Is he going to be bad Bobby or good Bobby? Is he Kevin Porter Jr.? Is he going to be good Kevin, good bad Kevin, Gary Trent Jr.? The whole works. So this is going to be a team where you have to preach. We have to out-effort people to win games now. We can't finesse and play iso ball with Giannis and Dame. We're going to have to play like complete basketball. We're going to have to play hard defense, and we're going to have to earn every inch of what we get. So this is going to be a blue collar team. It's going to have to be. It's not going to be the 3-headed monster of Drew, Chris Middleton, and Giannis, where they score 90 a game. It's going to look different, but again, this is all dependent on Doc Rivers. Honestly, I have no faith in Doc Rivers. I really don't. I hope he surprises me, but we've seen him with some of the best teams ever assembled, and he shits the bed. We'll see, but I think Ryan Rollins, people were freaking out a little bit on Twitter because they eventually waived him, but that waive was to sign a long-term deal. So again, Ryan Rollins has still got to prove it. He seems to shown some good things, which is why they gave him a longish term deal for 3 years with some guaranteed money. So let's hope this one sticks as well, and maybe the Bucks find a point guard that's really young, but I still think moves are to be made, and there may be a point guard out there yet to strengthen, or maybe a veteran point guard to kind of guide this younger team.
Yeah, no, we shall see, but I'm liking what we got going on with the Milwaukee Bucks. We just got to make the right pieces, but again, we're going to say on this show, and we always will say on the show, that it starts at Doc Rivers. It doesn't start at anywhere else, because you've seen his laundry list of history, and we don't even need to get into that. Hopefully he gets his way. Let's move on over to the Brewers. Brew Crew, huge win last night against the Dodgers at home, 9-1. They went ahead and swept the Marlins, and they went ahead and went 1-2, unfortunately, against the Mets. We already talked about the Rockies and the Pirates earlier. I mean, we got to like what we're seeing. 9-1 right now as we're recording. They're playing, but we got on them early.
Yep, I'll tell you what. The New York series woke up a sleeping beast that was the New York Mets. They were not playing great baseball. They get a day off starting last week on Tuesday. The rain postponed a game, and then they played a day-night doubleheader, which they split. Mizorowski got touched up for the first time, which, hey, the kid has been on the highest of highs ever since he came into the league, beating Paul Skeens, dicing up the Cardinals. It's been a great start for him to his career, but he got touched up. And I think, sometimes there's some silver linings with losing. I think him getting touched up may have been like, okay, I'm not going to win them all. I'm not going to strike out 11 every game. I'm not going to blow by my 100 mile per hour. He had some velocity dips, so maybe not as pumped up as he was for the Skeens outing, as we saw when he was just pumping cheddar against Skeens. So you went 1-2 in New York, woke the beast. I mean, New York has a $300 million payroll. They got good players over there. So you can't win them all. Then you went to Miami and actually went 2-1. You
I thought
blew
they
a
said
lead. No, they lost on Saturday 4-2.
my bad,
So
people.
they blew that game. They shot themselves in the foot that game.
Yeah.
But you know what? That happened. That's gonna happen and during a 162 game season. And then last night beat the piss out of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Once again, another Japanese pitcher, Yamamoto, who is Shohei Ohtani's best friend. They give him a fucking 10-year, $300 million contract. Didn't even get out of the first inning. Beat the pants off of them, which that's the measuring stick. Like, you look at Los Angeles, they have a $338 million payroll, dudes all over. I don't understand why they took a really, really good outfielder in Mookie Betts and tried to play him at shortstop, second base. Doesn't make any sense to me. He's a right fielder, outfielder through and through, which came and bit you in the ass. He had an error, and then that led to Vaughn, who they traded for when Aaron Savale said, "Hey, I think I'm a starting pitcher," and they go, "Hey, there's the Chicago White Sox. We just traded you to him. See you later." And then they got this kid who is a third overall pick in 2017-18, and it's amazing what a change of scenery and a change of just mentality does to a player. Where he went from the White Sox, where the White Sox were asking him to be the guy because you're the third overall pick. Develop, you need to be the guy. We picked you because we want you to be the guy. And then all of a sudden he goes to the Brewers and is like, you don't need to be the guy here. You need to be just a guy. Like, we have guys. We got Cheerio, we got Frelick, we got Yelich, we got Reese Hoskins. We got guys. We just need you to be a guy. No pressure. No one's expecting you to win an MVP here. No one's expecting you to be an all-star. So go out there and play ball. That's good. Keep more of that. That's great. Good job, kid. And then you just beat the pants off the Los Angeles Dodgers, which nothing in my heart I enjoy more than seeing the Dodgers lose, except for when the Milwaukee Brewers do it. So, and tonight, right now, the Miz going back on the mound against Kershaw, who's Clayton Kershaw, 3,000 strikeouts in his career. He's still producing very good stuff. Live on TBS. They put it on national television. It's a big game. So they're playing right now. I haven't gotten any updates. I'm assuming it's still 0-0. But you got...
Hold on. Guess who hit a home run for the Dodgers?
Betts or Shohei? It's Shohei.
Shohei hit a 431-foot bomb to center. He had to hit the screen.
He had to hit the scoreboard. Yeah, when you got Mizorowski pumping 100 and you got a guy like Shohei who bets on games, but yet Major League Baseball is never going to do anything about it because that's monies they thrown away. But fuck Pete Rose, I guess. I don't even want to talk about that. I'm not getting into it. But again, he's going to get touched up. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. I mean, if you take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, that's, in my book, kind of like a sweep. They're just loaded at every position. And you got one, probably pissed them off a little bit. So, again, we'll see where this goes. You might not win these next 2 games because you got Kershaw tonight and Glasnow tomorrow, and Tyler Glasnow can deal. So you're hoping for a 2 out of 3 win because that's very positive. Because once playoff time comes, you're going to see Yamamoto, you're going to see Clayton Kershaw, you're going to see Tyler Glasnow if you get matched up with the Dodgers. So, and you know what? The Dodgers may not be done. They might trade for half of the stars in MLB because that's just how they are, and it's fucking stupid. So, take 2 out of 3. You got 1. I think 1 is great, but now you pissed them off because you just beat the pants off of them. Now they're on national TV. But this is, like, you have to come into every game with that type of focus and that type of like, we need to play a pretty damn near perfect game to beat the Dodgers. Because, as you see, they only need 3 guys to go off out of their 9. And they have Shohei, who's going to be the probable, that Crow Armstrong kid in Chicago for the Cubs is actually making a pretty good case for NL MVP, but Shohei is probably going to be a top 3 MVP candidate for the rest of his fucking career. So that's the measuring stick. You need to come in with focus. You need to play almost a perfect game. You got to get on them early, as they did last night, to win, but again, during the regular season, if you take 2 out of 3 of the Dodgers, I think you're doing pretty damn good. Because that's the team you're probably going to have to beat, or one of the many teams that you're going to have to beat: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Cubs, to get into the playoffs and maybe make a run at the World Series. So you can't run away from these teams because they're going to be there.
No, absolutely. Obviously, playing right now, the Brewers with the Dodgers, and they got one tomorrow, and then they go ahead. They got the Nationals on a 3-game series. Then they go to LA for the Dodgers and then 3-game series. And then they got the Marlins, a 3-game series. And then we go ahead and we have,
after the Washington series, I think you got the All-Star break, which I think is very huge that you're ending 6 games at home. Because you got home from Miami. You probably lived it up a little bit in Miami. Like, it's Miami. You got there on Friday night. You probably, again, you hear all the stories of any time an athlete goes to Miami, they never play their best because it's Miami. But now you got home after the game on Sunday probably. And then I think it would be huge. Not that I've ever done it. Just getting home and being like, I'm going to be here for the next 2 weeks. Because we're going to be here for 6 days, and then I think you get another 6 days off for the All-Star game. And then it's just probably really refreshing to know I'm not leaving my home for a while. And 4 of those days, I don't even have to – and then they get this Thursday off. 4 or 5 of these days, I don't even have to play a game. We'll probably go in and practice, work out, do what you need to do, take care of the body. So I think it's huge that they're ending this at home and then going to the All-Star break, because then you don't have to worry about travel, and then you can just be home. We'll see after, and then the deadline's the 31st of July. We'll see if the Brewers, we'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we get closer, about what they need and what they could probably use to strengthen this team to maybe make a World Series run.
No, absolutely. We'll stay on top of that good stuff with the Brew Crew. Hopefully they go ahead and maybe pull 2 out, but splitting would be great against, obviously, the Dodgers at home. Well, let's move on over to the PGA, a John Deere Classic. Brian Campbell went ahead and won that in another playoff. There's been a lot of playoff holes this past weeks, to be honest, which is good. That means the guys are competing. Also, shout out to Max Homa playing very well. He had kind of went in a little slumps a little bit. Now he's starting to kind of find his way. Just playing good golf. That's the biggest thing. When you go ahead and if you know the game of golf, you know how mentally draining it is. And sometimes so frustrating, and sometimes like, God damn, like I've been doing this for so long. Like, why isn't this naturally just happening?
I compared that to what Justin Thomas went through 2 years ago. He's kind of going through what Justin Thomas did. He had a very good, strong finish at the Masters, but really hasn't done anything else in the majors since. So he's kind of the Justin Thomas that was 2 years ago, except Max Homa isn't going to make the Ryder Cup. Justin Thomas did make the Ryder Cup, which I didn't think he deserved, but then he proved that he did deserve to be there, even despite his bad play. But he's kind of going through it this year. He's grinding. He's trying to find his game. That's why he's playing in so many tournaments. But he's struggling, and you know what? That happens. It happens to the best of them. Victor Hovland is also struggling. I mean, he had a very good U.S. Open, but he hasn't been the Victor Hovland we saw 2 years ago, where he was just red hot. Like, best player at the time come Ryder Cup. So good to see him with a top. I think he finished top 10 for sure. But unfortunately, he's just going to miss out on the Ryder Cup. But if he could do something, maybe to sneak into the FedEx Cup, I don't know if he will, and then maybe make some noise at the FedEx Cup, maybe he can sneak his way into the Ryder Cup team. But I just don't see it. But good signs that he finished top 10 this week.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see you bounce back after you kind of just been in the dog pound trying to figure it out. But this one obviously coming up next, the Scottish Open. This is a big one. All of the big hitters that we normally see and talk about. You got the Roy McIlroys, the Scott Schefflers, the Tommy Fleetwoods, Colin Morikawas. You got Ryan Fox. You got Matt Fitzpatrick.
You got Oliver.
Listen.
Anybody is going to be at this tournament. It's Genesis. Anything involving Genesis has a big payout, big purse. So the big boys are going to come play. It's a $9 million purse this week. So all the big boys are going to play. Last year, it was the Scottish Open was absolutely electric because a hometown kid won it. Robert McIntyre, who's going to be is going to be on Europe's Ryder Cup team. He's from Scotland. So he's the returning champion. This is kind of a little bit of a tune-up for the Open because the course kind of plays the same style, links course. So no surprises that all the big boys are coming over as well. They may take time after this to go over to the course that the Open is going to be played on because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. It's in Northern Ireland. So, but again, all the big boys are going to be there. It should be really fun. Depending on the weather, it's Scotland, England, Ireland. Doesn't matter where you are in that little collective group. Weather is no bueno. So we'll see what the weather conditions bring. But again, all the big boys are going to play. It should be a really fun weekend, a fun tournament.
Absolutely. Well, before we head on out, what do you got for us, Mr. Jim Bob Cooter, for the segment of your prime time?
All right, we're
for the people.
For the people that can play, kind of compete, or not compete, but they can participate in this. This week, we're going blind rankings again, my boy.
Blind rankings, let's do it.
Blind rankings, top 5 things you don't know what's coming next. We're going Gatorade flavors.
Ooh.
So I got 5 flavors.
Shit.
I got 5 flavors. Throw them at you quick.
All right, let's do it.
First flavor. Starting off 5 right away. All right, we're going 5 right away. We're going orange.
Orange. We will put that one. We'll put that one at 3.
We're gonna go Glacier Freeze.
Glacier Freeze.
First
off, very, very great flavor that Gatorade has went ahead and put out. I'm gonna go ahead because I don't know which other ones are on there, and if I might hear it, I might not. I'm gonna put that one at 2.
2. Okay. Lemon Lime 1 and 4 open.
Where I want to put it, I do want to put it at 1, but I think that there's one in there that I know that I'm going to put at 1, but I'm going to play my cards safe. And I'm going to put Lemon Lime.
At 1?
At 1.
Okay. And last, Cherry.
Oh, yeah. You put that at 4.
Okay.
You put that at 4.
Which one were we looking for?
I thought it was going to be like a kiwi strawberry or like something.
To go just plain Jane. I didn't, because they get fancy with it. So
they do.
I wanted to go as plain Jane as possible, not try to put too much thought into it. Again, when they put punch and was it grape or something like that together, or berry or something like that, fruit punch berry, that X-rated like shit. Oh my God, bro! I was like, this is the best thing I've ever tasted. There is some like fierce melon, frosty, icy charge.
Yeah,
they got all types of shit. So I just tried to make it like where it's not promotional. It's the stuff you're gonna see every day. Even though Glacier Cherry gets slept on, I like good Glacier Cherry, but it has to be really hot to drink it. Like, I can't just drink it. Glacier Cherry is like, it's 95 degrees out, what we just went through. That's when where I'll be like, you know what? Glacier Cherry sounds good right now. If I'm going, I had to do it. Everything's coming. I'm putting Lemon Lime 1 still. I think Lemon Lime is just the best flavor out there. Y'all can fight me if you want, but that's just what. Fruit Punch was 2 for me. Like that, when you put it at 5, I was like, really? Fruit Punch?
No, the only reason why Fruit Punch is at 5 is because, like, when I get sick, like, I remember just when I was sick, I would always have, like, Fruit Punch, and that shit would turn me off of getting Fruit Punch.
And then, but it was a close, Fruit Punch and Glacier Freeze were close, but I find myself always getting Fruit Punch more than Glacier Freeze. So that was Glacier Freeze. Glacier Cherry was my 4, and Orange was my 5. Like, okay. I don't have anything against orange. I just kind of think it tastes too much like Kool-Aid, like Kool-Aid orange. So, I mean, it probably has the same amount of sugar. It might be the same goddamn thing. I don't know. But I'm just like not into the whole orange flavor for Gatorade. So, but that is rankings for Jim Bob Cooter.
Love it. I would like to say, though, there's 2. What is your favorite one besides just like the list that you just gave? What is one that you're like, do or die, that I can go ahead and I can drink 10 times out of 10?
2, because it's a special one, and then 2, because it's like the one I get all the time. The one I get all the time is Lemon Lime. I'm a powder Gatorade guy. Like, if y'all don't understand the powder Gatorade, y'all need to do some research, because that shit is cheap as shit. You can get 5 gallons worth for like $9-10 at Walmart, and you just make it in your own damn cup. Where if you get an 8-pack of Gatorade, it's like $8. So I'm just telling y'all right now, I'm a big powdered guy. You can add a little bit more if you want to. If you like it a little bit more water, you can add a little less. But lemon lime, I have it in my pantry here at home. It's the powdered version though. Yes, it takes a little work to do it, but you got to put some, as Brian Bush says, put some sweat equity into it. But if I ever find it and see it, it's fruit punch berry. It's that X-rated. They have some other cool flavors like the kiwi strawberry or what. I think I even saw like coconut melon or some shit.
Crazy.
It's Fierce Melon actually. Like when I saw Fierce Melon, I was like, I remember trying Fierce Melon. It's not bad. Like I enjoyed it, but my go-to is lemon lime for sure. Always lemon lime.
Yeah, I'll do or die by Cool Blue. If it's end all be all, Cool Blue would be for me. And then one that if I want to get a little fancy with the Gatorade, I had to look it up to see if it was even still available. I would do strawberry lemonade.
I remember that. I do remember strawberry lemonade coming out.
2005.
Yeah. The worst Gatorade flavor, and I hate to dog it, I just remember being like, this is horrible, was the Tiger Woods series.
That shit was dog shit.
When the Tiger Woods Gatorade came out, I was like, oh my God, Tiger Woods has this. I got to try it. And it was bad. I was like, wow, Tiger, why are you putting your name on this shit, bro? And I think what was the other flavor?
Bro. And they came in this nasty ass shit.
Yeah, it was not good. I think the other flavor that I got turned off by, now I get it every time I go to Taco Bell, is the G2. When they came out with the low sugar.
G2's good.
Zero sugar Gatorade is not the greatest. I accidentally bought it one time. They make zero sugar and the G2. I accidentally bought the lemon lime zero sugar Gatorade once, and I was like, this is not right. And I saw zero sugar. I was like, well, no wonder it's not right. It doesn't have sugar. And then I got the G2 Gatorade at Taco Bell, which I get it all the time now. And your first couple sips, you're like, this tastes like cough syrup. But then I'm like, this shit's, I mean, it's really good. So, and it makes me feel better about drinking that than drinking soda. So, but the G2 grape when they came out with it was absolutely delicious. If Taco Bell had G2 grape, it'd be no brainer. But the cherry's not. I think it's the cherry. The G2 cherry's not bad either. But again, Tiger Woods Gatorade, it was so bad. So
dog shit.
I can't believe he put his name on that. But you know what? It was Tiger Woods. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, unfortunately, can. And hey, you got to go ahead and get in the can next time. The can Gatorades are.
I've never seen that. I'm gonna have to. If I find it, I'll try it. If I find it, I'll try it.
Well, everyone, you guys have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend. We will see you next week. Peace out.